So obviously, break from the league this week, back in the FA Cup. Just looking forward to that one and get a nice crowd going for the cup game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably will have a decent enough crowd. Peterborough obviously well supported, and I think we'll have a decent crowd there. But for us, it's about trying to win the game. I know a couple of their players. I know the manager very well, Grant McCann. He was another young player that I gave a debut to when I took him on loan from West Ham to Cheltenham all those years ago. And I know Cliffy Byrne, his assistant, and they're two really, really good guys. So I'll be looking forward to seeing them at the weekend as well.
And there's 90 minutes between you and the third round, and this club have had some big games in cups recently. So hoping to get past this one, another one of them.
Well, this is a big game on Saturday first, so we have to look at that one. We would never look to the third round. The only time you can look to the third round is when you've won the second round. So, and Peterborough will be the same. We'll be just looking at how well can we do at the weekend, and if we can, replicate some of the performances we've had, surely, sooner or later, we'll get that win that we've deserved, certainly of recent times anyway.
And these cup games can be a boost for the players and the fans, because everyone loves getting up for the cup game, but I suppose it's got them other things that come from it, like the financial side, the gain that you get.
Well, there's obviously the financial side of it. A club our size and our budget, we definitely need to add any time that we can add money to the coffers. It's a real bonus for us. But that's not, that's not anything that the players need to take into consideration. When you're through one-on-one on a Saturday, you're not going to all of a sudden think, oh, that's good. If I score this goal here, we get so much more money. They don't have time to think that out. So, it's just all about trying to get them into the same performance and performances of late.
And then what about you? What are your FA Cup memories? Have you got anything that stands out to you?
Well, obviously last year, as you know, was a recent one. Certainly with the Shrewsbury fans. I scored, I think, against Tottenham in a fifth round when I was at Wimbledon. Been on Sky a couple of times. I think scored a couple of goals there in FA Cup when I was at Bournemouth. So that's the playing ones. I mean, the managerial ones are obviously, they give you more satisfaction, just simply because you're in charge of a group of guys, so you want them to go and play well. So, there has been some memorable cup runs that I've had. Some good victories when I was at Cheltenham Town, at Burnley. Some good victories last year and getting us to the game against Liverpool. I know we lost that 4-1, but I say at the time, and I would still say it now, it was only a 2-1 game, but we got a few of our young players on the pitch just to experience Anfield. And, with all due respect, they probably weren't quite ready for it, and we got done on a couple of quick goals. But I thought it was a fantastic day out for the football club last year, and we went to a brilliant club in Liverpool as well. The way they welcomed us, and it's really good for the supporters, really good for the bank, but obviously good for the players and myself as well.
And it's one of them tournaments, isn't it, that you can sit here and say, I remember this game. Players will always say, I remember that, and it always sticks out no matter what.
Well, it's iconic, isn't it, the FA Cup? I mean, God, I remember growing up as a kid and, watching the cup finals and how big it was on that day, cup final day. It was huge. There used to be access all to the players' hotel rooms, and you'd have some player that was going to be playing in a cup final and he'd be shaving in the mirror. I mean, you don't get that now. I'm not sure I would want that now either, but it's got a great tradition, the FA Cup, and it's known and respected worldwide.
And then just looking ahead to the game, it's Peterborough, so a team in your league, a team that you'll be familiar with, so just looking forward to that one.
Not so familiar with, because obviously we haven't played them yet this season. Ideally, you don't want to play a team in your own division, because you've got them. I mean, we've got them again, I think, in a couple of weeks after this. So it's not ideal, but in another breath, it could be ideal, if that makes sense. So, you don't normally want somebody from your own division, but the thing about it will keep us, mentally sharp on playing teams from our own division.
And then looking what's been going on here, you said a better week here, no more fresh injuries, everything's looking good this week.
Apart from when you turned up today, as you can see, it was almost a waste of time to go in, to come back out, because I think I'd have been like this anyway, even if I'd have gone in. So, yeah, apart from, we haven't had a bad week, if you know what I mean. So nothing's got any better, but nothing's got any worse. So we've just had an okay week this week. There's no dramas or injuries, or certainly to date anyway. So we'll be as we've been. There is no update on any of the other guys. Just that we know that December the 1st we've got those appointments for Julian and for Aidan. Danudo and George Nurse are coming on really well. I spent a little bit of time with them where they were working the other day in the gym. So that was good, and they're coming on. They're in good form. And then Elliot, Elliot's it's just time. We don't know how long he's going to be. He thinks he'll be back in a shorter period of time. That'll be great, And I think at the moment, all we can hope for is no more injuries or no more setbacks, because we really are thin on the ground now.
And Julian and Aidan, I know we spoke about them. It was their last steroid injection, and it could have gone either way. Obviously, it's not gone the way they would have hoped. But how are they in themselves after that news, and what made Lead head?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to go through the course of the injections anyway. There's no point in, if a specialist says, we might need a course of 3 of these, that's fine. I mean, we haven't delayed anything with Julian anyway, because he had a separate injury. So we haven't delayed anything with him. I suppose there is a delay with Aidan, because he's not had the secondary injury that Julian's had. But as for when we spoke last week, I said December the 1st, December the 2nd. That's where we are. So a week today, they'll be having their appointments at 5 and 5:30 on Thursday night. And they are booked in for surgery on the Friday. Bear in mind, we've got to have the consultation first, as well as we're having a leaky roof or whatever that's coming in. We'll have to get that sorted. We'll have to definitely get through the FA Cup. We're going to need a new roof by the look of us.
Cheers, thank you.
Okay,